It's time for This Week in History. Trivia style. Oh man, I haven't even been using the mic. Do I sound better now? I don't have any feedback. It's not like any of you are talking to me, and I don't have Chick Brew on the line, so I don't have the headphones on, and I forgot that the microphone was not close. It's close now, and just in time for This Week in History. Trivia style. Here we go. 7 questions. Our goal is always to get 7 correct. That's the goal. So have your fingers at the ready. Here we go with this week's questions. Question number 1. On April 7th, 1994, a tragic event began in Rwanda. What was it? What tragic event began on April the 7th, 1994 in Rwanda? Well, for those of you not up on your African history, here are your options. It starts with the start of the Rwanda genocide. That's option A. Option B, the assassination of the Rwandan president. C, a military coup. Or D, the signing of a peace agreement. Well, a peace agreement wouldn't be a tragic event. And an assassination wouldn't be the beginning. So I have instantly, even though I know the answer, I have narrowed it down to one of 2 things. It was either the beginning of a military coup, or it was the beginning of the Rwanda genocide. And over 1 million people died in the genocide. Robert's going with the military coup. The Great Coconut Tariff is what Roger's going with. That's hilarious. I know it to be the beginning of the Rwanda genocide. The Tutus and the Houthis were going back. Mr. Taney pops in with genocide. Roger pops in with coup. So we're split. We'll find out who's correct. I'm going with genocide because I'm pretty sure I remember all of that happening. Maybe April 7th. I don't know, but I'm pretty sure that's the Rwanda genocide. Question number 2. What U.S. president signed the Civil Rights Act of 1968 into law on April 11th, 1968? So, who signed the Civil Rights Act of 1968? Now, if you know your presidents, you know who was president in 1968. This shouldn't be a difficult one for any of us, because I know my audience, and with the exception of Robert the Younger, most of us were alive. No. I don't think any of us. Anyway, here are your options. Mr. Taney does not know his presidents because this is 1968. And Mr. Kennedy couldn't have signed in 1968, but he is the first option. Was it John F. Kennedy? Was it Lyndon Baines Johnson? Richard Milhous Nixon? Or Gerald Ford? It's 1968. Who is the president of the United States? Is it Kennedy? Is it Johnson? Is it Nixon? Or is it Ford? I believe the answer to be the most racist of them all, Lyndon Baines Johnson. Yes, very racist. But Democrats love him because he's a Democrat. Robert's going with Johnson. Roger's going with Johnson. Taney is going to change his mind, even though, Taney's going with Nixon. I am surprised. I thought you would be smarter than that. All right, we'll find out. Maybe he is smarter than all of us, and maybe he gets it right. Question number 3. It's April 9th, 1865. What Confederate general surrendered to Union forces, effectively ending the American Civil War? Extra points if you know where he surrendered. Hey, LBJ, how many kids you killed today? Back to the question. April 9th, 1865, what Confederate general surrendered to Union forces, effectively ending the American Civil War? Here are your options. Was it Robert E. Lee? Was it Stonewall Jackson? Was it Jeb Stuart, J-E-B Stuart? Or was it James Longstreet? Now, Mr. Taney's popped in with General Robert E. Lee, and for extra points, he put down Appomattox. Is he correct? What are your guesses? What general on April the 9th, 1865, surrendered to the Union forces, ending the American Civil War? Roger pops in with Lee. Taney's in with Lee. I'm looking up there at the TikToks people. None of them are answering. Good, because you're not the primary audience for the show. Robert E. Lee, and he wants to say Mount Pleasant for extra points. Mount Pleasant is not correct. Mr. Taney nailed this one. Well, I mean, when you live right up the road from Gettysburg, these are things you should know. So it was Robert E. Lee who effectively ended the American Civil War, and it was completed at Appomattox. Those are my answers. Question number 4. What golfer became the youngest to win the Masters tournament on April 13th, 1997? What golfer became the youngest person to win the Masters on April 13th, 1997? I would give you your options, but you should know who this is. Mr. Taney pops in with Tigger. Wouldn't that have been better? Wouldn't that have been better if his parents would have named him Tigger instead of Tiger? I got 2 Tigers. Here are your options. Is it Tiger Woods, Phil Mickelson, Jack Nicklaus, or Rory McIlroy? Hint, the person who was the youngest to win the Masters in 1997 is Blasian. I remember being on the road. I was with my daughters when the story broke about him being in a car accident. And initially the story said that his wife tried to get him out of the car with a golf club. And I told my 2 daughters at the time, I was like, that is not what happened. Tiger, or Tigger, he got caught. Everybody is in agreement. It's Tiger. I agree with you. It is Tiger Woods. Question number 5. April 9th, 1967. What aircraft had its inaugural flight, marking a significant milestone in aviation history? April 9th, 1967. What aircraft had its inaugural flight, making a significant milestone in aviation history? Was it the Boeing 737? Was it the Airbus A320? TWA. Was it the Concorde, or was it the McDonnell Douglas DC-10? Those are your options. Which one, April 9th, 1967, had its inaugural flight, making a significant milestone in aviation history? Now, I know it's not the Airbus A320, and I know it's not the Boeing 737. So it is down in my brain. I agree with Mr. Taney. It's either the Concorde or the McDonnell Douglas DC-10. Now, the McDonnell Douglas DC-10 in 1967 was Roger pops in with Concorde. The McDonnell Douglas DC-10 was a significant milestone in aviation history as the first jet passenger carrier that could hold X amount of people. It was a big deal and remained in service for a very long time. And then they started falling out of the sky and no one wanted to be on a DC-10 anymore. But I think 1967 is also right around the time frame of the Concorde, which was the fastest way to get from England to JFK. That's the only 2 places. I think when they went to Paris, they didn't have a lot of stops on the Concorde. It just got you across the ocean fast at twice the speed of sound. I believe it's the Concorde. Everyone else seems to agree it's the Concorde. We'll find out soon if we were correct. What U.S. president first articulated the domino theory regarding the spread of communism on April 7th, 1954? Again, if you know your presidents, you know who was president in 1954. So, what U.S. president first articulated the domino theory regarding the spread of communism on April 7th, 1954? Was it Harry S. Truman? Was it Dwight David Eisenhower? Was it John Fitzgerald Kennedy? Or was it Lyndon Baines Johnson? So they didn't necessarily need to be the president when they said this in 1954. They could have later become the president. So that could be a stumper for you right there. But if you were just going to go with who was president in 1954, I think it's Mr. Taney is correct. I think Robert is correct. I think I would also be correct in Dwight David Eisenhower. I like Ike. So, waiting on Roger's answer before we move on to the final question of the day. Roger goes with Eisenhower also. So we're all in agreement that it was Eisenhower. The final question. Good one. April 13th, 1861. What event marked the beginning of the American Civil War? So we know how it ended. It ended at Appomattox when General Lee surrendered. Also has a farm in... Yes, that's right. Eisenhower does have a farm in Gettysburg. You could see it from the battlefield. That is a man who's been to Gettysburg more than once. Come on down to... Get in the RV, Roger. Come on down to Gettysburg and we'll do a tour. It's April 13th, 1861. It's the beginning of the American Civil War. The War of Northern Aggression, I believe the old Saturday morning cartoon used to say. We know how it ended. How did it start? Did it start early in the morning with the attack on Fort Sumter? Was it the Battle of Gettysburg? Was it the signing of the Emancipation Proclamation? Or was it the assassination of Abraham Lincoln? Now, you don't have to be a history scholar to know what the correct answer here is. You just have to know some things. You have to watch movies with Denzel. Glory, right? I think that was the one. I know the answer. Do you know the answer? Here, again, are your options of what event started the American Civil War. Was it the attack on Fort Sumter, the Battle of Gettysburg, the signing of the Emancipation Proclamation, or the assassination of Abraham Lincoln? Those are your options. I can tell you it was not the assassination of Abraham Lincoln. Not like World War I, which was started because of the assassination of Franz Ferdinand, which is a crazy story in and of itself. The movie was Glory, and Robert says it was Fort Sumter. It was not the signing of the Emancipation Proclamation, which was also in Gettysburg. He wasn't Fort Sumter. Roger goes with President Lincoln, there to dedicate the ceremony, the cemetery in Gettysburg, asked to speak. He was not this featured speaker in Gettysburg. And in 2 minutes, he changed the world. The first guy, the headliner, he bloviated for like an hour. And Lincoln followed up with a 2-minute speech that has never been forgotten. So it wasn't the signing of the Emancipation Proclamation. It wasn't the assassination. I got Sumter. It wasn't the Battle of Gettysburg. It was most definitely the attack in Charleston Harbor on Fort Sumter. Now, let's find out how we did together. Question number 1 was the beginning of the Rwanda genocide. Question number 2 was Lyndon Baines Johnson, because Kennedy was dead, James. Robert E. Lee did the surrender. Tigger Woods was the youngest. The Boeing 737. I have no idea why, but we all got that wrong. Dwight David Eisenhower and the attack on Fort Sumter. So, None of us went 7 for 7. And I don't think many, I don't know. You know how you did. Start everything over. No, we start at 10:30. If you show up at 11 o'clock, you have to watch the reruns. Sorry, Daryl. Ladies and gentlemen, that's everything. We've done your National Days of the Week. We've done your community service note, and we've done a little 5 for Robert, and we did a little history. We did a little fun. It's a great way to start your Sunday. Oh, wait, I think I said it better with it's a fun way to start your Sunday. I appreciate you, and new episode of the Lunsby Show will be taped this evening. Should be out later in the week. But if you're bored, there's plenty in the repository. You can go back and listen to episodes from years gone by. It's the same old stuff. Ladies and gentlemen, I remind you today, as I remind you every day, just be the best person that you can be. And if you're a great